Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Bebop here, and today we're going to be going over the Musketeer class, and that's going to be the Rapier, and it's going to be the Musket. So Rapier Musket. All right, we're in a light equip load here. We have medium pants, medium gloves, and we're going to go over the skill tree real quick. Let's go over the weapon mastery and where I think you should put your points ranking up. I recently did a hardcore Ironman character, ranked all the way up to 65 without dying once, and it was a good time with this build. So let's see here. I have flurry that I would definitely go with first, and each hit of flurry does 25% more block damage. That will help you against enemies with shields. And then I would come right down here. Each hit of flurry reduces cooldown by 5%. Now, yes, it's only one ability, but those 3 dots are pretty important. That's all you need to do for now into the flurry. Then I would go evade, perform a small reliable sidestep in your current movement direction that cancels any activity and provides momentary invulnerability. Excuse me. Light attacks made during the evade are performed exceptionally fast. All right. Individual successful light attacks reduce the cooldowns of this ability by 30% each. That's really good to have. You could go here and then there, and that's going to get you 15% increased damage on your next light attack after you evade. You could come right here to critical strikes, reduces all cooldowns by 5%. And then you could select Fleche if you want. That gives you a 10-meter dash, which is really cool. Sounds cool, looks cool, and it's fun. Killing with this ability reduces cooldown by 80%. So if you're about to kill somebody, just, Fleche through them, and then it's cooled down by 80%. So you can get some movement going. You could also click haste. I always think ranking up, a big thing is movement speed. I love to have good movement speed when ranking up, so haste is always welcome. Damage, I mean, you're going to kill these guys pretty quickly anyways, so it is really good to have, but it's whatever you prioritize. Deal 10% more damage when your target has greater than 50% health. Reduce all rapier cooldowns by 1% on any hit. And we don't have a bleed necessarily quite yet, so I would want the ultimate before that. So I would come down here and do one more dot, and then there we go. We got 30% increased damage on your next light attack or heavy attack after performing an ability ends on hit or after 3 seconds. And then after that, I would click these 3 right here. You're going to be doing 5% more damage to targets with rapier bleed. At the final attack on the flurry, you're going to add a bleed, dealing 10% weapon damage for 12 seconds. And that's what I would go with right there. Ranking up. And basically, you're going to just be doing this the whole time. You're just going to be spamming evade and flurry. And then when you target about to die, you can flesh through them and get going. And you're going to stack, haste on you too. So you're going to get real quick. So that's what I would do ranking up. Now, of course, when you start getting into wanting to build a bleed build or a full evade build, it's going to be a little bit different here. This is a kind of a difficult weapon to explain. I mean, by the time you get past 10, 15 points, you could probably make a bleed build and go ahead and do, Tondo, flourish and finish, and flurry. And that's going to help get you a lot of damage. But this build right here, you can evade attacks and you constantly get cooldowns really quickly, because when you're ranking up, you're not going to have like 4 out of 4 refreshing or anything like that. So I always like this build when ranking up, and then when I get higher up, I can go bleed or full evade. And if you don't know what those are, I have a video on my YouTube that I uploaded about a week ago that explains the rapier and the 2 different builds. Now there is a 3rd build, but it's for advanced. I'll make a video on that here soon. And yeah, so let's get to the musket. That's the rapier. Let's go to musket. Now, starting off with the musket, like I say, I think haste and movement speed is huge to get around the map really quickly. So I would start off with this dot, and then I would go this dot, and then right here. After a dodge, gain 10% haste for 3 seconds. After a dodge, reloads the musket, so you can get a quick follow-up shot. Then I would start selecting abilities, because with that right there, you can dodge, and in the middle bottom of your screen, see that 3 seconds of haste. You can just constantly get that every time you dodge. So you get around the map a lot quicker. And if I was to shoot, I could dodge and then it automatically instant reloads and get a second shot. But that's going to help you get around the map. Then you can use your rapier for your main damage. That's what I would do. And then I would start picking abilities. Now, what abilities would I pick? With the musket, I would definitely go power shot. It's going to do 160% weapon damage and adds additional 30% to hostile AI targets. When you hit with the power shot, gain increasing damage 10% for 5 seconds, which is really, really good. Power shot deals an additional 10% damage to targets with full health. And then I would come over here to powder burn. Overload your musket with gunpowder, causing the next shot to deal 110% weapon damage, and inflict burn that deals 20% weapon damage for 9 seconds. And then standard musket shots deal 12% additional damage if they hit a burn-in target. So with that, you'll get your haste, but not only that, you get your power shot that you'll load. Oh, I'm used to having it in a different location here. Get your power shot that you're gonna load, and then you would dodge into the fire shot, and that's gonna stack a burn. And that's gonna get your highest burn that you're able to get by hitting the power shot first, getting the empower, and then getting the burn going with the powder shot. And then after that, I mean, I would go shooter stance if I were you. If you just want quick damage to get to your rapier, you could go sticky bomb, because it does 210% weapon damage to all targets within a 3-meter radius. If you wanted to, you can even attach slow to it, but it's only a 3-second slow, so I really wouldn't recommend that. But I like shooter stance. All right, you're basically going to go down in a shooter stance. Let's see. And then you're going to click whatever ability you want to do, and you're just going to shoot just nonstop 5 shots. And then you can roll and get a 6th shot real quick. And then you go to your rapier and start doing your business, you know? So that's how I like to do it. If you ever watch me play with the musket and rapier, which I main, you'll see that's exactly how I do it. So basically in that shooter stance, you're going to pop off 5 shots. Always start off with the power shot first, then your burn, and the cooldowns will come once you hit that 3rd one. After your 5th shot, roll, you get a 6th shot instantly. Boom. You're doing really good damage there. Now, if we get into the rest of the musket dots, this right here, increase musket damage 10% by aiming down sights for more than 2 seconds. On successful headshot, gain empower. Let's go ahead and click the ultimate. Grants 15% damage increase to all headshots. If multiple targets hit with a single attack, the next shot within 3 seconds inflicts a bleed to all targets. It passes through, dealing 15% weapon damage for every second. So it says if multiple targets are hit with a single musket attack, the next shot within 3 seconds inflicts bleed to all targets, dealing 15% weapon damage. Now, it says multiple target, but it's just 2. If I shoot both of these right here and then shoot again, you'll see the bleed. That's an inherent bleed into the skill tree. So that's really good to have. I love the left side mastery over the right side. The right side has just never been as good as the left side, so just go with the left. Now, I like to add this. You do an additional 5% increased damage to targets within 50 meters. If they're outside of that, then you do 10% increased damage to targets outside of 20 meters, sorry, for the 10% increase, and 5% for targets within 50 meters. And then this one, successful hits with musket grant a stackable 2.5 damage increase. The effect ends after more than 5 seconds pass between shots. I like that for the shooter stance. Basic headshots reduce all ability cooldowns. That's really good to have too. And then this one, if 2 or more targets are hit with a single shot, the duration of the next reload is halved. So, you get your shooter stance. Oop, I started off with the powder burn instead of the power shot, but that's all right. You can really start stacking up the burns and the bleeds. That's just extra damage ticking for every second. So, musket's really good once you start ranking it up, but at first I would use it more for movement speed. Don't forget, when you play with a musket or a bow, there are ammo types that you can get. Now, for the musket, it would be cartridges. There we go. You would have iron ones, star metal ones, and then orichalcum ones. I hope they add a prismatic one, but who knows. And then same thing with the bow. You'll have arrows instead of cartridges. So if we go to the attributes, now my clothing is the blue. All right, so it's already spec'd into strength. I would go to the 25 dot on strength eventually, so you get the extra light attack damage from the musket and your rapier. And then I would scale into dex. All right, I would go to 50 on the intelligence, and then I would just keep scaling to dex. And then eventually you could bring the intelligence up to also add to the damage. That's what I would do, because both of these scale with dex first, and the third dot right here isn't really going to help you with the musket unless you have an elemental gem in your musket or whatnot, but probably won't be doing that early unless it gives it to you. And that's what I would do. Well, hopefully that explains the rapier and musket. If you ever want to see me run it or have any questions, I stream every day on Twitch. Feel free to stop by at any time. And I will see y'all in the next video. Later.